Today, we're talking about something that everybody deals with, but some of us avoid: difficult conversations. The words you swallow, the meetings you avoid, the tension that you let fester because we're too scared to tell somebody what we really think. And I've brought on someone who lives this stuff for real, in boardrooms, in client chaos, in teams under pressure, and at home too. Tom Day is a partner at PA Consulting. He's built solutions across a range of industries: insurance, financial services, retail, consumer goods, finance, even defense. He thrives on ambiguity, jumps headfirst into unknown situations faster than most of us choose lunch, and yet still manages to bring clarity. Tom is a rare mix: high energy, straight talking, and unafraid to jump into messy human moments where the pressure builds and people say things too late. And he is a firm believer that conflict is often the result of a lack of communication. This episode is about why we avoid the hard stuff, what that costs us, and how to get better at saying the things that need to be said before they blow up. And Tom has left behind two great tools: a manual of me and a manual of us, which help us work better together. And you'll understand why that's important later. So if you've been avoiding a conversation or hoping that a situation magically sorts itself out, this episode is for you. Let's get into it. Tom, thank you so much indeed for joining the show today. Now, if anyone who's watching doesn't know who you are, you're a consultant and you've done projects across a range of industries, from defense and e-commerce and all sorts of things. And one thing that clearly runs through your work is people, whether that's clients or customers or the colleagues around you or people that you manage. And today we're going to be talking about difficult conversations. So understanding when one needs to happen and then how you approach that and creating the right environment. So before we get into the topic, maybe you can just talk a little bit about where you've been and why having difficult conversations has become important to you.
So thanks, Jeremy. So my name's Tom. Yes, I work at PA. I'm one of the innovation partners here. I generally sit in what we call our consumer team. So that means I work with people like Unilever and Diageo and so on. But I've also doing quite a lot of work out in the Middle East around building things. And I tend to say that I build cool things for cool people. So I do projects that interest me as much as anything. I haven't always been a consultant. I've been a bit of a hustler in the past. I've stared into the abyss of setting up my own business and stared into the garden shed to look at what I could sell to keep the home fires lit.
Yeah.
So that's been interesting times. And I've always been a bit of a hustler in terms of getting things done and wanting to see things happen. I've got a relatively low boredom threshold. So I like to see stuff moving forward all the time. And I think one thing I have learned over the last 25, 26 years of trying to do this kind of thing is that all conflict comes from a lack of communication somewhere, right? It just does. If it's a delivery hasn't happened on time, or you haven't put the cups in the dishwasher, it all comes from a lack of communication. If people know something's about to happen or is happening, generally they're fine with it. And it's about being open and honest with each other, and that seems to be this formula for success that I've found. It's not for everyone because most people are not as open as me, but that's okay. But the other thing I have found is that if I'm overly open and share in a nice sort of humane way, then other people tend to follow suit and they'll open up with stories about themselves and what's bothering them or what's not bothering them. So it makes these what we're going to talk about later, these tricky conversations, a little bit easier to manage and to have. I mean, no one likes them, no, unless I don't know who does, but
There are
it's
some people who do. They just love having difficult
yeah,
conversations. Yeah.
well, yeah, well, good for them, but I don't, right? I don't like it. But it's like ripping off a plaster. Sometimes if you get it done, you feel better after. It's like having a good cry. You
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
better afterwards. So weight has been lifted, and you've dealt with something. And I remember reading it's like classic old like management consultancy story about someone holding a glass of water. Imagine these are my problems at arm's length, and if I hold it for 5 minutes, it's not a problem. If I hold it for 2 days, it's dreadful. Again, it's just get on with it, right? It's life's too short to have annoyances going around the workplace. So
Mm.
moving on with things quickly is often a better way of doing things.
And what do you mean by difficult conversation? I can imagine things, but I'd rather understand from you. What do you mean by difficult
So
conversations?
I'd say a difficult conversation for me is anything that makes you feel a bit butterflies in the stomach sort of thing. So I've had difficult conversations at home with my kids about internet usage. I've got a son; he's 16 now. So you can imagine, right? That is a conversation that I didn't want to have, he didn't want to have, but
Hmm.
we had it, right? We
Hmm.
had it,
Hmm.
and I set it up in such a way. I've had plenty of difficult conversations to work. So conversations that I've had about me and that I've had with other people about them. And each time it's one of those sort of pit of the stomach feelings that you get, oh, I don't want to do this. I wish it was done. I wish someone
Hmm.
else had
Hmm.
done this for me. I didn't have to deal with this, whatever this is. And it might be that you don't want to pay a builder for some work because they haven't finished the work properly. It's awkward. Um, and that's what I would consider to be a difficult conversation. Is anything that gives you a bit of the heebie jeebies about doing it, that's where it kind of sit for me.
Right.
Most of our lives are filled with like fun stuff. Well, mine is like fun and uninteresting and
Yeah.
benign conversation, but some of it has to happen. So it could be about anything, finances or behaviors or whatever.
So I think often in the workplace, particularly if you're managing people, you often become aware of a situation or some behavior or something or some performance issues or something where you need to go and have that conversation. Like I say, some people just dive into it headfirst and they're really comfortable. Others are kind of cautious and a bit anxious and, as you've described, would rather put it off somehow. But
Mm.
if you dive in and get it done, it's better. Why do people feel so anxious about
So
heading into something?
I think it's the natural avoidance of conflict. Um, whether let's take it to an extreme situation. If you're in a situation where you could end up getting physically hurt by something,
Hmm.
it
Hmm.
could be a Saturday night, right, out in town, wherever. You'll avoid it, right, because you don't want that to happen. And I think it's the fact that you could emotionally damage a relationship and by having a conversation because people will take it personally.
Hmm.
You know, you, Jeremy, haven't managed to do this, this, and this on time. Why? And there might be a perfectly good reason. Well, I've been ill. I've been off. I
Hmm.
didn't know,
Hmm.
right? So one thing I have learned about, right, rather than just diving straight into the difficult conversation, you have to understand the facts beforehand and have a balanced view. Now, sometimes, I mean, it's happened to me here at work. I've been blindsided by somebody, and she said to me, "I need to have a chat with you." I said, "Fine, no problem." So went now, okay, dokie. I put my things down, and we went for a walk. We went out and around. We're based in Victoria here, out and around past Buckingham Palace into sort of the parks. And she unloaded on me about some problems she was having with a project and some interpersonal challenges that were going on. And it raised something up, right? It raised something. And it took a lot of courage for her to come and approach me and say, "Look, I need your help."
Right.
Equally, right, it took the time for me to say, "No problem." My EQ radar was smart enough to realize that this is not something that could just, "Have you got time at 11 o'clock? Can we reschedule
Yeah.
it next
Yeah.
week?"
Yeah.
And then, yeah, sure enough, in that particular scenario, that escalated a situation which became an HR issue, which led to all manner of awkward conversations. And that had to be done and had to be tracked and had to be sort of noted. That was no fun at all, right? No, not for
Mm.
anybody.
Hmm.
But it had to be done, and it helps to make the workplace a better sort of environment. Um, that could have easily been one that was brushed under the carpet and left alone and would have festered and would have boiled and would have got nasty and could have really, spat something bad out. But fortunately, this lady was, had the confidence in me to come up to me and say, "Look, hey Tom, I need some time." We had some time together. I could then find out some more facts around the situation before then going into like, right, to the other person, right, we need to have what's going to be an awkward conversation.
Yep.
And I think
Yep.
I even framed it like that, saying, "You're not going to enjoy this. I'm not
Hmm.
enjoying it, but it needs to happen." Um, so I think again, it's being balanced around it, being fair about it, being human about it as well, and understanding that you are dealing with people's emotions, whether it's to do with performance or behavior or whatever. It's an emotional thing. Um, but if you just go barreling in with one side of a conversation, you're probably going to
Yeah.
miss the reality of what's going on, because everyone has their own point of view.
Yeah.
It's
And
tricky.
what typically happens if you know that you've got to have a difficult conversation of any, and it can be sometimes quite minor or sometimes, yeah, major. If you don't grab it, if you don't nip it off in the bud quickly enough,
Yeah.
what happens?
Well, it's like anything, right? Let's say you and I are out building a garden shed, right? And you get a splinter in your palm of your hand, I get a splinter in the palm of my hand. I spend half an hour squeezing the little bugger out, get it out, suck the blood away, job done, right? You go, it's all right. I'm going to be a bit of a
Hmm.
man
Hmm.
about it. I'm not going to dig
Hmm.
mine. I'm going to leave it. Gets infected, gets bad, gets nasty, gets manky. Eventually, you end up going to the doctor to have this either cut out, or you've got all these other things going on. Similar thing here, right? If you deal with it, it's often quite easy to nip in the bud, whatever it happens to be. If you leave it, fester, go manky, escalate, spread,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just unpleasant. And it leads to
Yeah.
toxic environment if it's left around it. Again, think of any situation like at a home. If your partner is consistently leaving a wet towel on the bed.
Yeah.
I should point out that my wife does not do this.
Yeah. I was going to say, you sound like quite a rough home life, Tom. Maybe we
this,
need to have a
this,
difficult conversation.
yeah, this is the kids, right? So this is the one that we have
Yeah.
the kids consistently doing this. So rather than letting it like boil out, you and exploding at home, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
just deal with it, right? So like, if you, and then equally talk about the consequences of not getting the wet towel off your bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and just little things like this. So sometimes it can be very small, and sometimes you need to be a little bit more in depth around it. But every time, if it's left just to drift, it becomes the norm. That's okay. That's acceptable, whatever that
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And that is not acceptable because we're in a high performance situation here. Our clients expect top level work, high level work, whatever it happens to be. Expect the best. And if we are not producing that, well, we won't be awarded the work. I won't be able to give my teams cool work for cool people, which is like what I pride myself on doing. And everyone loses. So, you've
Hmm.
got to just make sure if you're holding people to a high standard, you've got to live it yourself, right? It's fine. And take it on board. If someone has a chat with me, fine, I'll take it. It's all good. I'm definitely not perfect. But equally, you've got to be very balanced about giving it back. Now, I don't enjoy it, but it's got to be done.
So I mean, let's talk home life for a second. I have two boys here.
Hmm.
One is really compliant. I very rarely have to talk to him about anything.
Yep.
The youngest one is a constant friction. It's like lots and lots of little. We need to have a micro difficult conversation about this, and then this, and then this, and then this. And I'm aware that because I have so many of them, they're almost losing their value.
Yep. Yep.
How do you get the right balance
Mm.
between I'm going to wait until it's meaty enough that I really need to have this conversation versus almost accepting a load of little things that maybe I could nip in the bud?
Yeah, you're spot on. Right? If you're always shouting at your kids, for instance, loses its impact. And equally, on that, often the best way to cut through in that situation is to go quiet, because then they have to shut up and listen to what you're trying
Hmm.
to say. And it's I think if you make sure that you're using difficult conversations the right way. Now, when I particularly take this one I had with my son, he's 16 now, and a few years back, Um, you know, I was putting his phone away overnight, and I happened to glance at a screen. I saw stuff that I
Don't do that, Dad.
didn't want to see. Right.
Yeah.
So I talked to my wife about it, and she said, that's yours to deal with.
Yeah.
I will talk
Yeah.
to my daughter about periods. You can talk
Yeah.
to the boy about that." Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I spent a couple of days thinking about how I was going to address this, and I did. I sat it as opposed to barking instructions and shouting at someone. We sat down. I made sure Kirsten, my wife, she took my daughter out, so she was out, and they were gone.
This sounds like a very big setup.
It was a big setup because it was a
Yeah.
very serious subject.
Yeah.
And I sat him down at the table. And I said, "Listen, we're going to have a chat, and it's going to be awkward. You probably don't want to have it, and I probably don't want to have it, but we're having it, okay?
Mhm.
And you're not in
Mhm.
trouble,
Mhm. Mhm.
okay? We just need to talk about
Yep.
internet safety, photos online, what's appropriate, what's not appropriate, and secrets." And
Mhm.
I know
Mhm.
I'd done what I needed to say, and then so I said my bit, and I said, "Look, no, let's just chat about it." And
Instantly, he knows what you're talking about, right?
no, straight away, like he
Instantly,
knew
yes. Yeah. You don't need to
immediately what were
describe it. Yeah.
no, no, and I even took an old photo of myself at university out, but I got printed one. I said, "That's the only copy of that exists in the world. If I cut this negative up, it's
Mhm.
never ever being reproduced. So,
Mhm.
but if I take a photo of whatever it is, the fireplace, somewhere,
Mhm.
ever, there's a
Mhm.
digital footprint of that thing.
Yep.
You got to be," and it was as awkward as it gets, right? As a parent, to talk about what we're talking about, and to be fair to Harry, he dealt with it like a champ. We had a really good convo, and it really landed home. And one of the lines was like I said to him, "No one online should ever ask you to keep a secret. I will ask you to keep a secret from your mum about birthday present. That's about it. But if it goes any deeper than that,
Yep.
something is wrong." Okay,
Yep.
and it was okay. It was the most awkward of awkward, and I remember talking to my wife after it, and we were just having a giggle about, oh, it's just I would,
Thank
oh,
goodness that's over. Yeah.
yeah, I wish the floor would swallow me up. Um, and it was because that was deeply personal. It really
Mhm.
was. Right? It
Mhm.
mattered a
Mhm.
lot to me as
Mhm.
a parent. Um, and it can be the same when you come into the work environment. Whereas maybe your personal connection is not going to be so strong, but equally, from a team connection, if you get this wrong, this could explode in your face, and it could go very awkward in the wrong direction. So again, that's kind of where I took with my son thing. I took a couple of days to plan it out.
Yep.
I read up a little bit. I talked to another couple of mates about it. I even talked to someone here at work who deals with online safety for children, and that was eye opening. My gosh,
Mhm. Mhm.
um, but I felt confident enough to go into that conversation with enough knowledge about what was good to do and what was bad to do. And the approach I took was as soft as I could be for a subject that isn't is actually
Yep.
really serious.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't want to be getting that one wrong.
What would have been the difference, though, Tom, if you'd have torn in straight away, like rushed into the room, like "Argh,"
I mean,
sounded off?
yeah, I think in that respect, go, right, you're not having your phone for a month,
Yep.
and this is
Yep.
disgusting, and you know, at that age, I think he was about 12,
Mhm.
11,
Mhm.
12. Just yeah, maybe 12ish, 12, 13. I mean, you can easily see a situation where you're causing emotional damage. Like you say,
Right. Yep.
there's a trust issue here because Dad's looking through my phone.
Yep.
There's a shout. Am I doing the wrong thing? What have I done wrong? Why is it wrong?
Yep. Yep.
I don't know. I'm going to carry on doing it. And I'll find another way to do it because the consequences hadn't been explained correctly. And you know, uh, as a parent, you don't want to fall out with your kids. I
No.
want to have a relationship with my kids when I'm in my retired years, if I ever get that far. That that we have a joyful, lovely relationship, and I think it's a fundamental. You and I grew up in a different era, right? And digital stuff didn't even exist. Right? It just
Yep.
wasn't there. you had to get up to change the channel on the telly.
Oh, I remember those days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do you remember?
Three channels. Do you remember that?
I
Three
remember when the
channels.
fourth channel came on, I wasn't allowed
Yeah.
to watch it because it was
Oh, yeah. Channel
fully
4
rubbish.
was racy, wasn't it? Yeah.
I know. So things like that. You've got to understand they're growing up in a different era, and you've got to adapt the way that you talk to them in
Hmm.
such a method.
Hmm.
And it was it was easily one of the most awkward conversations I've ever had. But
Yeah.
when I did, I felt great after we'd done it. I felt
Yeah,
great.
I think that sort of bursting the blister and getting through it. When we were talking beforehand, you mentioned you love ambiguity, and you're really happy with ambiguity, and you're racing to a situation with ambiguity because your work is out.
Yep.
And yet, on the other hand, you're saying clarity is important, particularly with communication. Everyone must sort of know what's going on, and that almost the ambiguity would cause difficult conversations.
Yep.
How do you balance those two?
It's tricky, right? So when I say I'm comfortable with ambiguity, what I really mean is I don't mind jumping into a situation which I know nothing about. I don't
Right,
mind
right.
jumping on a flight to go to Saudi Arabia to go meet people to work out, find a business opportunity. I don't mind. When I go running of a weekend, I will deliberately try and get lost and
Right.
take routes that I can't see anyone else on. So if I'm running through a park, see a trail with no one, I'll happily take it and worry about it later. I don't tend to worry too much about that sort of thing. Um, I'm in that respect, I'm quite comfortable with not knowing what an outcome might turn out to be.
Right.
Um, I'm also quite comfortable going to, let's say, client work where the question could be, how do I do A, B, and C? And the answer might be, you can't. It's
Hmm.
impossible.
Hmm.
Um, and a lot of people will say, no, I need to have a definite yes or no, or a definite yes, because I want to be able to come out. And I don't mind going into a conversation, say, look, the answer might be, it's not possible. And we've got, there's a live one at the minute we're working with a company in the Far East. I won't go into too much, but the answer that they've got a business critical question about raw material manufacture. And the answer is, you don't know how to fix it. I just
Hmm.
don't. And this is $1 billion question for them. It really
Hmm.
is. And it wasn't the answer they wanted to hear. But there you go, another awkward conversation. You've got to say, yeah, you know that thing we spent a load of money on? I'm sorry, can't do it. And but they've got to that point that it's been validated by scientists and advanced manufacturing engineers. Say, look, we've looked at this from every different direction. I don't think it's going to work.
Hmm.
So we've got to find
And
some other
it'll be
route.
easy, wouldn't it, to avoid that conversation,
Oh, yeah.
or to sort
Yeah.
of bluff
Well,
your way through or keep it hanging on, but actually having that conversation.
yeah. Or say, do you know what? Give me another 4 weeks on this. Give me another
Yeah.
6 months on
Another
this.
4 weeks, another four
Give me
weeks.
some more
Yeah.
cash. And then actually, you lose credibility anyway. But by saying, look, we don't think we can do this anymore. We've come to
Yeah.
the end.
Yeah.
And we don't
Yeah.
think that anyone can do this.
Yeah.
That is where you gain credibility and trust because you're like, I can't do it. I
Yeah.
can't do this.
Yeah.
And that is, I think, key in building. So that was awkward, but you know what? You dealt with it well. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And when the next thing comes in, then you can have that as well.
Yeah, and when you say something, they'll believe you because of that trust and credibility. Which brings me on to what you've left behind. Which, when you hear it, you might think,
Yeah.
"What's that got to do with difficult conversations?" But um, some managers have a manager read me, which describes me as a manager and how you get the best out of me. You have one of those. We're going to talk about that. And again, you might think, "What's that got to do with difficult conversations?" I'll
Yeah.
get to that.
Hmm.
And the second thing you've got is also working with us, which is about the team, if you
Yeah.
like. And the reason that you have brought these is because the way you've described it is, if you know me, if you know the way that I work, if you know us as a team and how we work together, you've brought that set of clarity.
Yeah.
And it heads off the need for a lot of difficult conversations because you'll understand where we are. Is that fair?
It's totally fair, right? So a lot of times when you get thrown into a project situation, you're working with people you may not know that well, and
Yeah.
you may not have worked with before, or you may know them brilliantly, but equally, it's always good to do. So yeah, we've put together these couple of documents. We use these all the time, right? And like any, like anything, they're fairly simple, but simple's hard to do.
Hmm.
Really
Hmm.
difficult. Um, and it's fairly self-explanatory. There's a bunch of boxes to fill out, which is, how to get the best out of me. I respond well to these sorts of things. How do you get the best out of Tom? Which is,
Yeah.
so Jeremy, how do you get the best out of what? I don't respond well to being shouted at. I don't
Hmm.
respond well
Hmm.
to micromanagement. I don't respond well to being asked to read 50 pages of documents um, because of my low boredom threshold. I just
Hmm.
never going to do it. Right? It's just
Hmm.
true story. I don't know who provides my gas and electricity at home. Not a clue. No idea.
Right.
Um, I don't actually know. I know who my broadband is because it's got a Virgin sign on the box, but I don't know who does gas and electricity. My wife has sorted that out because I'm
Yeah.
uninterested. I'm
Yeah.
just not bothered.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel that. I'm the same. Yeah.
yeah, and my home insurance and stuff like that. I don't know who does that. Not a
Yeah.
clue. Um, so don't ask me to do T's and C's. Don't ask me to look at legal documents. I'm not that guy.
Mhm.
I
How
respond
how does
well.
that
Um,
how does that then avoid the need
but
for a difficult conversation?
so,
So, put it into a working context.
yeah,
If you and me are working together and I've read your document, like how does that head off difficult conversations?
so so it helps you as my boss in this scenario. Don't give me work I'm not good at. Okay,
Right.
or I won't enjoy because I probably won't do a very good job at it. So you might come to me in a week and say, Tom, so you've looked over those white papers, you've done that thing. He said, no, I haven't. Oh, I
Hmm.
give some
Hmm.
half-assed Copilot or GPT answer, and you will immediately say, I don't think that's right. You clearly haven't done the job, and away you go. Whereas if you give that job to someone who's very analytical and loves that kind of work, and sits in a room, headphones in, crack on,
Hmm.
fabulous. Send someone like me out to go and do something else in the field. Um, there's one critical box in this manual of me part, which is I think it's entitled I've got some stuff going on. Okay, it's a little box in the
Right.
corner, and this has been without a doubt the most useful thing in all of this, a whole lot. If there's one thing that some people can take away today is to fill that one out, and that's been really useful in a couple of situations. I'll go through it. I won't name names, but um, for the benefit of everyone here, this could be I'm moving house. I've got
Right.
my dog is sick. I'm having treatment for something. Doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be that serious. It could be anything. My kids are doing GCSEs.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Um, one time we filled in this form, and then a guy came up to me afterwards. He took me aside and said, "Look, I didn't want to write it down, but I'm going through a divorce.
Right.
Um, it's really awkward. It's acrimonious. It's not much fun." I said, "Well, I'm sorry to hear that. It's it's not great news, but at least now I can know to give this guy some space. If he takes a phone call and comes back in a bad mood, we can all understand probably why that is. And we can give him some time or ask him if he would like to go for a walk or talk about it or not talk about it. And it's all good. But by having that knowledge of how people work and what's going on in their life a little bit, you can avoid those awkward conversations or those explosions at work, which I've
Yeah.
experienced before. I mean, I remember seeing one guy in a session slam the table and shout and swear. Do you want to go and talk about it? And do you know what? In that situation, it was really, I mean, it's awkward again. But he opened up that him and his partner had a miscarriage, right?
Right.
And it was all going on. A small joke went out of control, and boom, explosion. And with all these things, there's often there's always something else going on. It's never the one thing in isolation. It's rarely that irritating. You're going to have an explosion. It's a build up, build up, build up, build up,
Yeah.
build up. And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
almost certainly it's something outside of work that's got someone to go. And
And
if you
how do you
know
avoid
this,
oversharing? How do you avoid, there might be some stuff going on in my life, like, and I end up oversharing.
yeah. So as the let's say the project lead or the manager or whatever, I find it's often best to overshare
Right.
and tell people because then you set a barrier. So at the minute, you and I know right, I'm struggling with an infection. Right, it's hard work. I'm
Yep.
tired,
Yeah.
but I let people know. because then if I am knackered and I leave work a little earlier, or I'm just a bit tired, I need half an hour. They know why. Why is Tom sat over there? Because he's knackered. That's
Yeah.
why. He's
Yeah.
piling drugs for him, and he's knackered. But if they didn't see that, it's quite easy to say, "What's going on with him?" You know, shouldn't be doing that. And it's just the same, right? So if people know the battles you maybe go, you don't have to share everything. You can share it with one or two people if you want. You don't have to share that your life.
Yeah.
It's just making sure that if there are things going on that may affect the way that you are turning up, it's probably a good idea that somebody knows about it. Because otherwise, you're being very, and I'm going to use a male about it and not asking for directions, when you're traveling somewhere. Oh,
Yeah.
no, I'll
Yeah.
find
Yeah.
it.
I know where I'm going. It's
Yeah,
fine. Trust me. Yeah.
just stop and ask.
I don't
And
need help.
yeah, but everyone needs help, right? All the time. And getting those sort of, I remember with the miscarriage one, there were tears involved, right? There were
Hmm.
lots of
Hmm.
tears and big hugs and a nice long walk down by the river. And everyone felt loads better after it. We were able to come back into the room. He was able to apologize. It was all fine. He then shared with the others that this is what's going on. And everyone, oh man, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
really sorry. And you know what? Everything was so much better afterwards. It built up in this explosion moment, and it was just so much clearer. And
Yeah.
it's getting that weight off your chest. Sometimes it just helps. Especially men, right? We're rubbish at sharing. We're rubbish for asking for directions. We're rubbish for health. Uh, you wait until something's like festering
Yeah.
to go and get it sorted, and you can't move your elbow, and it's
Yeah.
completely seized up. We're awful at it.
Yeah.
So get over yourself and just join in and be a human about it.
And I think also men, I'm generalizing, but we're not that good at emotions, particularly in the workplace. And so when there is something going on, we kind of put on a really brave face. But
Yeah,
actually, people begin to see through it because your behavior just twists and tweaks a little bit. And then eventually
yeah,
you feel
totally.
good because you can share.
Yeah, and I fundraised for Movember. I had a big moustache, massive, and this is the remnants of it. Um, it's true. Yeah, men are rubbish at it. The suicide rates for men are dreadful in this
Hmm.
country.
Hmm.
Um, Really, really dreadful. And I'm sure that a lot of this comes from not being willing to open up a little bit and asking for help when you need it. So that's another way of avoiding an awkward conversation, is to ask for help. It's as simple as like, I'm struggling with this.
Yep.
Might be, I don't know the subject matter. I'm struggling to find the information. I don't like the people I'm working with. I've got some shit going on at home. Fine. Ask for help. Because if I
Hmm.
don't know you're struggling with it, how on earth can I possibly help you? And
And
this is the
how,
sort of,
how do you stop it becoming an excuse for poor behavior? Like, please excuse my poor behavior at work, but I've got this thing going on at home. Therefore, please forgive me.
yeah. Well, there's a line, isn't there? Okay, you know, you can allow some people a degree of freedom because stuff's going on, but if it's becoming unacceptable, you can easily take them aside and say, "Look, you're bringing your baggage in. Okay, I get it. There's stuff going on. I get it. I'm sorry,
Hmm. Hmm.
but here in this environment, you can't bring that in. Those behaviors you're displaying are unacceptable.
Yep.
Um, they stop. I have to stop."
Yep.
And it's just calling it out, and it takes courage, right? It really does take courage to do that sort of thing, um, because again, you're potentially inflaming a situation, um, but by not saying something, you allow it to become the norm, and
You
that's
normalize it.
unacceptable too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you
Yeah.
cannot allow that to happen.
So in a moment, I want to get through into a bit more about what your manager readme contains, but also the team one. I think the team
Yeah,
one's really interesting because it creates that environment. But before we get there, as a colleague or as a manager, you begin to realize that you need to have that difficult conversation with someone. How do you start that? How do you begin that process?
well,
Sometimes it needs to be done now. Sometimes it's the next few days. But how do you begin that?
oh my gosh. Okay, so it will depend on the situation, right? If it's a small thing or a big thing, but I suppose the first thing you have to do is steel yourself, right? It's going to
Right.
be, I mean, this is what I do. Like, oh, I mean, you probably saw my reaction. They're going, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
that's what I mean by difficult conversation. Anything that makes you go, I wish someone else would do this.
Right.
Um, so make sure you've got your facts straight about whatever it is you need to talk about. So if it's a performance thing, behavior thing, a delivery thing, whatever, but equally, I don't think it's helpful to go in with just like that. You've done a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's way more helpful to go in with a solution or offering up some help in some way, shape, or form.
Or at least willing
So
to listen, perhaps.
yeah, totally. A couple of years ago, I got pulled into an awkward conversation with 3, 4, I can't remember. But by one of my line managers saying, Tom, you're not really doing the best you could do. What's
Hmm.
going on? I said, oh, this, and this. And I ended up getting a bit of business coaching, which is fantastic. If people haven't
Hmm.
had it, should do it.
Hmm.
It was really awkward to begin with, but my manager in that scenario had come in with an olive branch, a solution, or whatever. And I grabbed it. As I've been asking for a business coach for about 18 months.
Hmm. Hmm.
Thank you. Oh my God,
Hmm.
brilliant.
Hmm.
So going in and knowing it's going to be awkward is part of the battle, but knowing you've got the story straight, the facts straight, whatever, but also a way through, a way round, a way
Right. Yeah.
above is definitely preferable, because then you're not saying, look, right, Jeremy, you're rubbish,
Hmm.
sort it out. Great. That
But
helps
you know,
nobody.
you get that little ping, don't you, on Slack or whatever? It's your boss. Have you got a minute?
Yeah.
And 99 times out of 100, it's just like, where are we on that thing or
Yeah.
whatever? Minor. But now and again, it's, yeah, I need to have a difficult
Oh,
conversation. How do you stop that fear for the recipient when they get that? Have you got a minute?
yeah. So again, is like, have you got a minute? It could be lots of things.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you got a minute? I need to bend your ear.
Okay.
It's
Be very
like,
clear about it. In other words. Yeah.
yeah. Just be clear. Don't leave it to ambiguity, because people catastrophize about everything.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen here? Oh my God. Yeah.
I'm going to be
Oh,
fired today.
yeah.
Now,
It's
here
all
I go.
dreadful. And it's like, should I wear the blue shirt or the red shirt?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it could be something as minor as that, or it could be like, can you just read over this email I want
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
send? I
Yeah.
just need to talk to you about A, B, and C. It's
Hmm.
often just that.
Hmm.
Um, if it's going to be anything more major, I think if you're initiating that conversation, just be clear about it. So, look,
I love
don't,
that. Can I have a word? Have you got a minute? Because I need to bend your ear.
yeah,
I know. Okay,
it's
cool.
easy.
We're gonna have a tough conversation. I get it.
Oh,
And I
well,
can
it could be,
prepare.
yeah, it could be. Look, again, I can send you an email. It could be read in two different ways, always,
Yeah.
Um, so often seek the person out if it's going to be awkward, and just talk to them, like physically, face to face,
Yeah. Yeah.
chat. And so look, again, going back to my son's, you're not in trouble.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to talk about. This is how we're going to fix it, or this is how we could fix it. What do you think? Have you got? And they might say, "Oh, thank God, yeah, I wish I'd talked to you about this before. I've been struggling with this, and this. I can't bear working with Billy McBilly
Yep.
face, and
Yep.
I
Yep.
hate everything about this." And I said, "Great,
Yep.
like, I can pull you out of this situation, move you over there, or I can do something different, or we can speak to Billy McBilly face,
Hmm.
and we can crack on with that." But again, it's
Would you
you
advise
know,
against me sending you an email? Tom, you need to have a difficult conversation about,
yeah.
I don't know, the choice of your shirt or whatever is upsetting people. Should I put the problem in that email or just
No,
leave it loose and vague?
never, never. I mean, unless it's a subject that it could be end of year, fine. We need to talk about end of year performance or whatever, or end of year metrics.
Yep.
Wouldn't be a surprise to someone who's having a great year or a tricky year, right? It's
Right.
not
Right.
going to be a surprise. Um, Again, I think it depends on the situation. If it's like, I need to talk about the fact you've been swearing too much in the workplace or at your colleagues, or your
Yep. Yep.
dress code is a bit rough for the, probably don't write it down. Just
Hmm.
say, look,
Hmm.
I just need to put 5 minutes in the diary, or can we go for a coffee?
Hmm.
Again, if it's really, really awkward, then removing the situation from the physical boundaries of your normal workplace. I mean, our corporate offices, as you probably can tell.
Hmm.
Um, Take it away, take it to a coffee shop, take it for a walk in the park, to get somewhere else where the conversation you're mentally unrestrained from your normal four walls of a
Yeah.
meeting room,
Yeah.
and you have a different conversation. The energy will change. You have different conversations if you are walking than if you're sat in a pub, if you're sat over a coffee, or if you're sat in a stagnant
Yeah.
meeting room, a glass
Yeah.
box of doom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I
With
think,
an HR representative
oh,
beside you.
yeah. Well, if it's that one, then it's awkward anyway. It's going to be awkward for
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but again, in that situation with the HR representative, you've got to be prepared. You've got to be factual. You've got to take emotions out of it. You've got to
Yeah.
be,
Yeah.
this is it, that's that, and it's going to,
Yeah.
and you've got to keep bringing it back. It's really hard, right? It's really, really hard, and
Yeah.
I don't think really anyone actually really enjoys it. It's awkward. You'd
Mm.
much rather not have the argument. Much have the easy life. Everything's roses. Everything's joy. Crack on.
Yeah.
But
And I think
every now and again, you can't.
in my experience also, when you're going to have that, you must be precise and concise and say, you know, when you eventually sat in the room, I need to talk to you about this, 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 and this, and this, and this is what I'm thinking. You can't go, look, kind of, I feel, maybe, possibly, what do you think? You've got to be
Yeah.
pretty direct with it.
Yeah. Here's what I'm seeing. Here's what I've been told. Here's what we've seen.
Yeah.
Bam, bam,
Yeah.
bam. Let's go through it. Let's
Yeah.
work our way through it. And
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing to do is if you're in the situation where you know you're going to have an awkward conversation come your direction, head it off at the pass. Get
Right.
on top of it. Say to whoever it's going to be, your line manager, your project manager, I need some time with you. And they'll say, great. And then you have the time. So look, I'm struggling with this. I can't do that. I'm having a hard time. And do you know what? They'll respect you more for it
Yeah.
because it's rather than letting it fester, the splinters going manky. Just head it off. Just say, look,
Yeah.
I could just do with half an hour. And I can't see the trees for the woods, woods for the tree, whatever. I just need to help. I need a safety net. I need a rope ladders to get out of this. Can you help me? I just need a
Right.
hug.
Yeah.
Whatever. It could be.
Yeah. So, sort of predicting the situation, being direct, say, I need to spend 5 minutes with you because I want to bend your ear. I love that. I'm going to steal that. That's now my idea. Thank you, Tom. And also preempting it yourself, coming forward and saying, look, I'm struggling with something. Can I have a word is great
Yes.
advice. Now, we talked about your readmes. We've talked about one particular part, which is, you know, here's some stuff that's going on in my life, which might impact me. What else goes on inside that? You know, here's my Tom readme.
So it's really just about how to get the best out of you and what your overall goals are. So it could be as well, you know, I want to move to the US one day. You
Right.
can be aspirational in this stuff. I want to be famous for this piece of work. I want to write, I want to hold the pen. I want to do this, that, the other. Great. Fantastic. If I know that, I will throw things at you, which help stretch you, push you, all that kind of stuff. Again, it's just about being open and honest about really what you want to get out of this project and how we can get the best out of you. I don't think there's anything too crazy in there. Again, it's but I do feel that as a manager or as a leader of a team or whatever it is,
Yeah.
if you're filling out this document, you're really open, really open.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've got some stuff going on. I'm moving house. I'm trying to move house. It's a freaking nightmare.
Mhm.
My kids are playing up, whatever. Just be open, share something a bit personal, because that then allows other people to share a bit of things which are a bit personal. And it's, you may feel awkward about it, but just get over yourself, right? You know, you
Yeah.
work with these people. If you're going to spend, let's say, 4 weeks on a project with them, let's say that's 8 hours a day for 4 weeks. That's 5 days a week. It's a significant chunk of time.
More than
And
you spend with your family.
it's much more than you spend with your family.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know everything about your family, but you know nothing about these people. You don't even know their
Yeah.
dog's name. So
Yeah.
get in and get sharing, and you will get on delivery raises. You have more fun as a squad because you know more about each other, what makes people tick, what annoys people. You avoid stuff. You just perform better.
And where do you share this? So you're going to write it out. What do you do with it? Do you sort of stick it on Facebook or something?
No. It's for that project team only. Okay. You might stick it on the war room if you're working in that sort of situation. bang on the wall. You might read it
Yeah.
out to each other, and afterwards you might destroy them. I just
That's a
stick them
great
through the
idea,
shredder,
isn't it? Start a kickoff with everyone
destroying
fully
stuff.
sitting and we'll all sit, no, destroying stuff. Yeah. But no, yeah, we'll sit down and just go, hey, look, run
So
through your readme.
100%, right? So I've done it on 4-week sprints, and I've done it on major programs. And by major programs, I mean things that go on till 2032. It's a
Right.
really big sort of gig, huge effort and pushing things through. And you share this in that case. So we called it a manual of me, and
Right.
it was
Right.
it's really, really important to do because it gets things off early stage in the on the right foot, and helps to create a better performing team.
Right.
If you can totally get away without doing it, you don't have to do it at all. Um, but chances are, at some point in that project, you'll step on a landmine, and you didn't mean to do it, and
Yeah.
you brought your dog into work, and someone's allergic to dogs. I don't know
Yeah.
what it is, right? You could be as
Yeah.
minor as that. It might be someone says, "Look, I've got a massive nut allergy,
Mm-hmm,
really serious," and you go, "Wow, I found that out about a colleague this weekend. He's got a nut
When I
allergy.
offered
I
them
have
some
no idea."
peanuts. Yeah.
Yeah, he went to Egypt and had a bit of a problem. I didn't know this. I didn't
Mm-hmm,
know
mm-hmm,
until Tuesday of this week. What day is
mm-hmm.
Thursday today? I had no idea, and now I know. And it's the kind of
And,
thing that
and,
you might want to have in there.
and what's the team readme? What's in there and who
So
contributes to it?
everybody contributes to that. That's more of an open session. It's really right as a team. What do we want to be famous for? Who do we need to impress? Who are the stakeholders that
Right.
are involved? How often do we want to get them involved with it? What do we want to share with them? How do we want to share it with them? But really, what's our overall vision? What do we want to be known for when this is finished, done, and dusted? When people look back on it and give me a review, what are they going to say? And say that team did amazing. I would have them back in a heartbeat.
Right.
And that's kind of what it's all about. As a team and collective vision, what do we want to be famous for? Now, also on that, you'll probably see it's like signed, commit.
Okay. Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
I've got into obstacle course racing now, and you on the when you sign up for a Spartan race, it says commit. I'm committing. I'm not entering. I'm committing. Oh God. But it's when you physically sign a vision statement, a vision thing on the wall. Again, you can destroy that, but we tend to keep these up. It just helps you go, yeah, I've put my name on that. I've
Right.
told other people in the room I've put my name on that. I'm signed up to this. I'm signed up
Yeah.
to that vision. And it helps people navigate towards a North Star because, I mean, you know as well as I do, right? You get a statement of work through from a client, you begin the project, it changes shape almost immediately.
Yeah.
And what you thought you were doing is slightly different.
Yeah.
But your team vision probably should remain the same. We want to be
Yeah.
famous for
Yeah.
this, this, and
I
this.
always say that things like
Absolutely.
principle, you hold a set
And
of principles and they don't vary really, based on whatever changes. Yeah.
exactly. And, I think it also helps people to that Jeremy's going to be away this week, that week. Well, we'll cover his back. No problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've got
Yeah.
this. And, that can go into, I've got some time coming up off work. And so how does a team, are we going to manage that? If, Jeremy's got 2 weeks off because he's getting married. Fantastic. Great news. Can we all come? And,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it just helps to, again, create a more open
Yeah.
atmosphere within a group of folk. And remember, these people may not ever have worked together before, and that's okay, because they'll all have a superpower. They're all in that room for a reason. So let's unearth that stuff and let's see how that super team can come together to smash it quickly and get on with it.
And I love the idea that we find out that you're not a detailed person, but Sally here is a detailed person. So now as a team, when we've got something which requires detail, don't give it to Tom, give it to Sally. And then as a team, we are more successful.
Exactly that, because who's going to be good at what, and
Yeah.
and then it's a bit like having a football team, a volleyball team, a rugby team, whatever team. You've got some people who are good at like small,
Yeah.
fast, bang, it's right, great. Give them the ball, stick them on the edge. You've got people who are big and strong, great. Stick them in the middle and they can smash it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
You've got people who are better at certain jobs. So why would you try and make a fish climb a tree It's never going to do that. It's better at swimming.
Yeah,
You
that
know?
that fish gets very unhappy trying to swim a tree as well, or swim up a tree for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly.
Yeah. So Tom, thank you. I've been in situations where I've known that difficult conversations have to happen. Sometimes I know that someone needs to have a difficult conversation with me because I'm struggling with something, and
Yep.
it's great advice to go, look, I'm probably struggling with this. You probably know. Let's have that conversation. Equally, we've all managed people. You know, you need to have that conversation, and the more you put it off, the
Right.
worse the problem gets and the more difficult that conversation becomes. And so
Totally.
I love this idea of having an approach in a way, having this belief that, if you can have a difficult conversation, plan, but then lean into it and get it done as quickly as possible.
Yeah, totally. And then, it just gets done, right? And everyone moves on.
Yeah.
Um, I think, I'm again back to a family situation. You don't want to be walking on eggshells around people. It's just crap. So
Yes.
again, if you do with it at work as well, work are your family, right? You
Yeah.
spend a
Yeah.
lot of time here.
Yeah.
So would you rather be in a situation where you get on with people and trust people and know a little bit more, or and have this adult relationship, or do you want to avoid stuff and have it?
Yeah.
It's always kind of unspoken and whatever. Just
Yeah. Yeah.
get on with it. It's fine.
And also when it becomes part of the culture, the next one's easier. This
Totally.
is what we do. We
Yep.
talk about stuff, we address things, we get it sorted out, we move on.
Yeah, totally. I
Yeah.
think there's one other thing I did read the other day around sort of between I don't and I can't. So for people who have awkward conversations, maybe they're working part time, 3 days a
Hmm.
week, 4 days a week, and say, look, um, it's there's like this small nuance about saying that I don't work on Thursdays,
Hmm.
so you know I can't take a call. But it's kind of making sure that people understand as well. If I'm part time here, doesn't mean I'll take a call on Thursday. I'm looking after my kids.
Yeah.
That's what I
That's
do.
why I'm not
My kids
working.
are
Yes.
2 years old, and that's my job on a Thursday to look
Yeah.
after little whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so just making sure you use language correctly. So I don't work on Thursdays. That means I can't join that call. I
Yep.
I I won't be there, and being utterly clear. So
Yep.
setting nice
Clarity.
boundaries as well, because the minute you break those boundaries, um, the failure is going to happen. So again, as a partner in this firm, I'm if I go on holiday, I'm on holiday. I
Hmm. Hmm.
won't take a phone call.
Hmm.
I don't take a phone call because I believe that sets the wrong example for others in the firm because they say, "Oh, Tom did it. It's kind of expected." No, it's expected you have a holiday.
Yeah.
Expected you have a rest and come
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
fired up
And
and ready to
actually,
smash it.
if you don't do it, there's this sort of expectation that we should be able to get hold of Tom. Tom didn't
Yeah,
pick up the phone. Now what? Oh, crazy
yeah,
Tom. Like I now
yeah.
think bad of Tom.
No, exactly. So, but if you know that you're not going to get hold of Tom for the next 2 weeks or week or whatever because he's on holiday, don't even bother. Because
Yeah.
you'll only get an angry Tom at the end of it,
Yeah.
saying, "Why are you calling me?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not a brain surgeon. No one's going to die.
Hmm. Hmm.
Deal with it. You're an adult." And this is the
Hmm.
other point as well. Is like when you have this team set up that trusts and works with each other well, then that doesn't become an issue in the first place. You've told them I'm off. I won't be reachable. Anything that needs to happen, Jeremy will deal with it.
Yeah.
Crack on. Good luck. I'll see you in a
Yeah.
couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And that's it. No big deal. Away you go.
Amazing. Tom, thank you so much indeed. Your manager readme and your team readme are clearly central to this. And again, it may be difficult to understand why they are important, but actually when you realize that it sets clarity and everybody understands everybody else and how people work and what the boundaries are, everything gets so much easier and
Yep.
avoids the need for difficult conversations. And so if you're watching or listening, you can go to buildyouredge.org/downloads. You can download Tom's manager readme and team readme, as well as details of the episode. You can find Tom on LinkedIn if that's what you want to do. So thank you very much indeed, Tom. Thank you for sharing this. It's a really important topic.
You're very welcome. And I've really enjoyed it. So thank you for inviting me.
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Tom. And we'll see you next time on Build Your Edge.